Hello everybody, this is AG here, and welcome to the Charlotte Motor Speedway. As we continue on with Indy 250 week, the other big race, or one of the other three big races of this weekend, is the Coca-Cola 600 here from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. The 16th race of the season will be the halfway point of the 2025 season here in the Wawa Cup Series. Tonight we qualify for the longest race of the season, the Coca-Cola 600, 100 laps, 150 miles here from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Always such a fun race to do each and every year. Of course, leading up to Saturday's big race, the Indianapolis 250. Tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on AG the channel. It is the longest race of the season in the Wawa Cup Series. And of course, tonight at 7 p.m., hence why we're here at 6, even though it's dark here in the game. It is, of course, if you're living in Charlotte or anywhere in the United States right now, it is probably bright and sunny outside your window right now, or cloudy or whatever. But it's not nighttime yet. But we don't care about that. This is such a great racetrack under the lights here at Charlotte. Always one of the best races of the year. Always a race that shows us who is going to be good the rest of the season. And like I said, this is the halfway point of the season here in the Wawa Cup Series. This race is going to be crucial to who ends up really having a good chance of winning the championship. Lajovic Shred, of course, just took the points lead last week in North Wilkesboro Speedway. Jack Haas had a great run. He's right below the cutoff, 2 points behind. Daniel Paulus Jr. only 12 points behind. Andrew Miller is really close to the cutoff there as well, only 15 points behind. And those are drivers who have had a lot of success the past few weeks. We'll have to see what they can do in trying to jump drivers like Bryce Egan, Tanner Parton in the chase cutoff. But here's Uncharted qualifying. Of course, we got to see who makes it in from these drivers. There's Carson Miller in the 50 machine. Eric Monaco in the 45. Hot seat drivers for this weekend include Chris Reynolds in the number 42. Number 91 there, that is Corey Case for Evans Ross Racing. Number 14 machine is Campbell Marsh. And the number 90 is Matt Black. Of course, top 5 fastest drivers, they qualify their way in, and then the highest hot seat driver, if the highest hot seat driver is already in the top 5, and the 6th place driver races their way into the Coca-Cola 600 here. This is a race you want to be a part of. One of the crown jewel events of the Wawa Cup Series as well. We've only had the one crown jewel event with the Daytona 500, which was won by an uncharted driver in Eric Monaco. We'll see who wins number 2 tomorrow night. And we'll see, too, some of these drivers racing in the Indy 250 as well, like Carson Miller in the number 50 machine. Chris Reynolds is in the Indy 250. Who else is in the Indy 250? Oh, Dylan Matthews failed to qualify. She tried to make it in. I think those might be the only two in this group that are going to be racing on Saturday in the big race. Right now, Eric Monaco has the fastest time in the 45 machine, looking to advance his way into the Coke 600, and the way it's looking right now, it is very possible we may end up falling on the hot seat provisional for the first time this season. And just as I say that, well, technically we are falling on it in that case. Yeah, if we end up with a driver in that position right there. Of course, you got the number 91 right now in 6th. That is Corey Case, who is currently in a position to race his way in. You have Eric Monaco, Zayden Davidson, Aaron Lukes, Carson Miller, Dylan Matthews. The top 5, and then the 91 of Corey Case. Those would be the 6 drivers who would advance on the way they currently run. And a little bit more movement. How about that 91 actually gaining some more speed? A lot of speed in the Evans Ross cars. They were very strong in North Wilkesboro. Of course, Kirsten Bell got the win in the Brandt 400 last Friday night. And Jack Haas finished top 5. Jack Haas led the most laps in the race. Haley Anderson Jr. has gone to 4th. Haley Anderson Jr. has found a lot of speed as of late as well, and that's the other Toyota team there in Pacific Racing, and these guys have found a lot of speed as of late in this 92 machine. Haley Anderson Jr. struggled a lot to make these races early on in the season, but now has found herself into position to make a consistent run at these races. And right now she's doing so as it's Monaco, Zayden Davidson, and now Corey Case is completely knocked out as you got the 90 machine who's holding on to the hot seat provisional for the first time, and now the 14 takes it away. And Campbell Marsh moves his way. Darian Arnsdorf is in as well. Aaron Lukes is 4th. And you got the 92 of Haley Anderson Jr. in third. Zayden Davison and Eric Monaco who would advance on. That's going to knock Carson Miller out. Johnson Jameson trying to race his way in for the first time this season. The only car not to race into any of these races here in the Wawa Cup Series at this point in the season. No advancement in time from any of those drivers that time around, and the time's going to run out here in just a few seconds. That will do it more likely than not. Good to see Aaron Lukes make it into the show. He has struggled this season in that 2 machine for rut racing, but it looks like he's going to be able to run in the longest race of the season. Eric Monaco as well in the 45 machine. Zayden Davison, Haley Anderson Jr., and it's Aaron Lukes, Darian Arnsdorf, and the 14 machine of Campbell Marsh, and still technically not following on the hot seat. Paversinol is its 6th place driver right there. Still advances on, being the number 14. That'll do it for uncharted qualifying here from Charlotte. And those are your drivers racing their way in. Eric Monaco, Zayden Davidson, Haley Anderson Jr., Aaron Lukes, Darian Arnsdorf, Campbell Marsh will race tomorrow night in the longest race of the season. Johnson Jameson, Carson Miller, Matt Black, Jared Martin, Corey Case, Dylan Matthews again fails to qualify for a race. That's a tough one for her. Chris Reynolds and J.R. Rippleton all failed to qualify for the Coke 600. Let's move on to Group A. See who makes it into the Fast 6 here from Charlotte. And here we go for Group A from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Coca-Cola 600 qualifying here tonight. I think it's going to be a fun night here for qualifying for these guys. Of course, we did NR2003 qualifying over the weekend. That was a lot of fun. Of course, everyone went out single car runs on that. Only the top 6 go out on that single car run here for the Wawa Cup Series, of course. And we'll see who ends up getting the pole position. Of course, each pole's worth a point. Keep that in mind that's been something that's been going on, though. Got a lot of guys that have won just 1 pole this season. Only 2 drivers have won multiple poles. That's Laura Chung and Duncan Ward, who have won multiple poles this season. Brain Perez out there in the number 44 machine. He is 19th in the championship standings, actually tied with Nicholas Samadio and Trey Bartow right now in the 18th position. Has not really found the best success in that 44 machine at this point in the season. Same can be said for Matthew Hubert's had a struggling year up to this point, 23rd in the standings, driving for Team Velocitar, and especially when you compare him to his teammate Daniel Paulus Jr., who has found himself in victory lane twice already this season, one of only 2 drivers who have gone to victory lane twice this year. Andrew Miller's been on the up and up. He is 13th in the standings. Driving for Durrani Racing, this team has found a lot of strength, especially in Miller, not necessarily with Brad Stover, unfortunately, but Miller has found a lot of strength in this car the past few weeks. Not been a good season for last year's Daytona 500 champion of LJ Semedo. He sits 25th in the standings, only 1 top 10 all year for Semedo, and that 71 machine has not been a good year for Titan Fury Racing. Haley Anderson Jr. again qualifying her way into the race. She has had a pretty decent streak of making these shows as of late. 6 starts. This is her 7th start that she'll have in 16 races. And, she's got an opportunity at being the highest in the uncharted points by the end of the season. We'll see if that ends up being the case. Here's a defending Coca-Cola 600 winner, Rogel Dorn in the number 74, and won this race in the same exact car for the same exact team a year ago, but unfortunately, we don't particularly expect him to do the same this year, which is a shame because Rogel Dorn is a great driver, especially on these speedways. Long races like this on the speedways really favor his style. He also won Nashville last year as well, which is where we'll be next weekend. But we'll see how well he does in the 74 machine, but such a shame for Rogel. The car is just not there for him, and it's not like it was a couple years ago when he was driving for Full Frontal Motorsports and was still able to get some good runs out of that. Almost actually made the chase in that ride. Everyone else is just at such a higher level than what this team is at currently. The difference is very noticeable in the results. Andrew Miller is currently inside the top 3, the fastest 3 right now, but it's Eric Monaco who's maybe a bit of a crown jewel merchant at this point. Maybe he's the 2nd fastest. And now you got 2 uncharted drivers in the top 3 right now with Eric Monaco and Haley Anderson Jr. The 92 machine has found a lot of speed, but Andrew Miller has also found a lot of speed. Getting that pull off of Jack House ahead of him, and this is a racetrack. In these group sessions, you'll want to have a car ahead of you, get a bit of a pull down the straightaways, and increase your speed just a little bit to find yourself in a good starting position. There's Ludovic Charette, our new points leader here in the Wawa Cup Series. Took the points lead last week after Travis Crimson had probably one of his worst races of the year at North Wilkesboro. We'll see him in Group B. But Ludovic Charette, bit of a favorite maybe to win this race. I know Matt thinks that she's a favorite to win this race tomorrow night, and we'll see where she ends up qualifying. Well, there she goes up to second. She has qualified exceptionally well this season. She is the best average qualifier of the year and best average finisher of the year as well. The only thing she does not have this year is a race victory anywhere on the channel. She is one of the few drivers that are going to be doing the double, racing in this race tomorrow night, and then in the Indy 250 on Saturday. Not enough to move herself. Well, she did improve her time, though, but not enough to beat Andrew Miller, who still has the fastest time here in qualifying. Great run for Andrew Miller. And then you have Isaac Nichols, who's another driver, top 10 in points. Nichols has had a great season. He won at Atlanta, which is, not exactly the same racetrack as this one, but a similar style of race. And I think that's going to suit Isaac in this race quite a bit tomorrow. How about Jack Haas, who is also, he's been on a very good streak lately. He had 2 consecutive runner-up finishes on mile and a halves at Texas and Kansas. And almost, and arguably should have won last week in North Wilkesboro. His teammate had other ideas and ended up finishing in the top 5. But Jack Haas has been one of the hottest drivers as of late in this series. Looking to get his second win of the season. Got the win at Phoenix earlier on. So it's Jack Haas, Andrew Miller, Ludovic Charette in Group A. Looking to advance on to the Fast 6 here from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Isaac Nichols looking to start 7th. Eric Monaco looking to start 9th. Haley Anderson in the 6th position, looking to start 11th. Alex Sanvitali, he's a driver who's top 5 in points right now, and he's got a good starting position going for him at the moment. They are in the 7th position in this session, which means he'll start in the 13th spot for tomorrow's Coca-Cola 600. Jack Haas, Andrew Miller, Ludovic Charette advance on to the Fast 6. Isaac Nichols will start 7th. Eric Monaco will start 9th. Haley Anderson Jr. will start 11th. Alex Sanvitali will start 13th. Darian Arnsdorf will start 15th. All 3 of the uncharted guys starting top 15 from this session. Avery Alford will start 17th, and I know he absolutely wants to get a good run tomorrow night because he is not doing the double. He failed to qualify for the Indy 250. LJ Semeta will start 19th. Philip Torres will start 21st. I messed it up there. Thomas Troxel will start 23rd. Logan Williams will start 25th. Bruno Diacomo will start 27th. Matthew Hubert will start 29th. Angel Gutierrez will start 31st. Braden Perez will start 33rd. Bryce Egan will start 35th. Rogel Doran will start in the 37th position. Justin Zeidel will start 39th. And Zachary Fitzwater will start in the 41st starting position for tomorrow night's Coca-Cola 600. Let's get on to Group B, see who joins Jack Haas, Andrew Miller, and Ludovic Charette for the Fast 6 here from Charlotte. And here we go for Group B from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. And those who do not advance on, of course, gets the outside lane to start for the Coke 600 tomorrow. I don't know if that's necessarily where you want to be, but it is a very long race, and if you have a good enough car, you'll absolutely find yourself in a position to win tomorrow night. And Laura Chung was actually 3rd last year in this race. She had a great run in this Coke 600 a year ago. Definitely a very strong driver there for Rut Racing. Got the win at Bristol, and she's currently 4th in the standings, though past couple of races have not been the best for her in that 20 machine. We'll see how well she can do driving for Rut Racing here tonight. Of course, it helps. I think it helps a little bit in the confidence range there that the uncharted car made it through with Aaron Luke. So that's a good sign for those guys at Rut Racing that their cars are built very strong for this one. Here's Nicholas Samadio and Blaine Keys, and how about the all-time wins battle? We have Nicholas Samadio, of course, who is still atop, 31 career wins, going for 32 tomorrow night. And if he doesn't win tomorrow night, going for 32 on Saturday in the Indy 250. What a win that would be. But you also have Zachary Fitzwater just went to 30 for winning last week at this time. Getting that win at the Indy Grand Prix. This is definitely a race I'd like to see Samadio have a strong run in. He has not had a good season, 18th in the standings coming into this one here at Charlotte. And not exactly what we would expect Samadio, who has finished top 3 in the championship standings in all 4 of the rating series that we have done since the beginning of 2023. That counts Wawa Cup and Turkey Hill Truck Series. And we'll just have to see how it ends up shaking out for Nicholas as this race goes along. Blaine Keys in the 32. Can you believe that he's yet to win a race in the Wawa Cup Series yet this season? This is the longest he has gone in all 3 of the Wawa Cup Series seasons without a race victory, and he's driving for arguably the best team of those 3. Winner of the Coke 600 2 years ago, and he finished runner-up in this race last year, so he's very good here in this Coca-Cola 600. And I know he had this race circled on his calendar as a bit of a rebound for him, and after what happened to him last week, where he just didn't qualify well at all, ended up failing to finish in North Wilkesboro a week ago. I know he'd love to have a good run on this one. He's 14th in points, currently sitting 21 points off the cutoff. And that's only with 7 races left to go until said cutoff as well, so we're going to have to see how it works out. After tonight, it's only going to be 3 races, or 6 races left to go, and you got to get it now while you can, because every point's going to matter in that regard. He's got the fastest time right now, and I know Blaine would love to start up front and have an opportunity of winning this race tomorrow, and he's getting that pull off of San Mateo at the moment. Trey Bartow has found himself 2nd overall in this session. Good run for Trey, and then last week's winner, Kirsten Bell, is currently 3rd. Tanner Parton rebounding. Tanner Parton is another driver we're watching for that slipped back in the standings, with Jack Haas, Daniel Paulus Jr. moving their way up the way they are in the standings right now. Parton's one of those guys that some people are eyeing as possibly not making the chase, and he's 4th right now, which is going to be an 8th place start for tomorrow's race if it stands. There are a lot of strong guys in this race. So you have Paulus, you got Crampton, who has been the points leader, who was the points leader majority of this season. He's struggling just a little bit, though. I don't think he quite has gotten his fast lap in at the moment, but he's behind this 81 machine. He just moved himself up a little bit right there. Bartow just went to the top of the board in the 4 machine. And Crampton went to 6th. That'd be a 12th place start. San Mateo and Paulus now both top 10 starts for him right now. They are not in the Fast 6. Those are good starting positions for our Kansas winner there of Daniel Paulus Jr. and Nicholas San Mateo. Tanner Parton there. Now we got ourselves Zayden Davidson and Drew Webb moving their way up there. Great run for those guys. Find themselves 7th and 8th, and that would be 14th and 16th on the starting grid. Now you also got the 81 Roberto Crown Jr. getting that push there from Travis Crampton. Crampton now slipping back further and further. That's 24th place to start the race, and Parton 26th, the way they currently run. You still got Blaine Keys in the Fast 6. Paulus is now in the 4th position overall, which means an 8th place start for him, and San Mateo would be 10th. Nathan Smith is in the 6th position. Duncan Ward now up to 7th. Leonard Kochmer up to 8th. Crampton going to move back up to the 9th position right there. Still cool, not quite enough. How about Campbell Marsh? And how about Daniel Paulus Jr. up to 2nd? And watch out for Paulus tomorrow night, because Paulus as well. I think Paulus and Ladovic are going to have the best shots of winning tomorrow night. I think they got 2 of the better long-run cars. Blaine is now outside looking in 4th. That would be an 8th place start for Blaine Keys. San Mateo looking to start 10th. Crampton now looking to start 12th as he moves up another spot in the 98 machine. Duncan Ward's all the way back looking to start 16th. Nathan Smith starting 14th as they run currently in the 06 machine. Then it's Campbell Marsh there, Leonard Kochmer in the top 10, and Tanner Parton in the 97, who we thought might have a good shot there. All the way back in 14th, that's 28th, and just as I said, that's a guy that these guys are watching for. And then Laura Chung as well. Not a good lap for Laura. She is all the way back 18th. That is 36th starting position for Laura Chung, and that's going to be what it ends up being for Laura, as we're going to have ourselves Trey Bartow, Daniel Paulus Jr., and Kirsten Bell in the Fast 6. Blaine Keys will start 8th. Nicholas San Mateo will start 10th. Travis Crampton will start 12th. Nathan Smith will start 14th. Duncan Ward will start 16th. Campbell Marsh will start 18th. Leonard Kochmer will start 20th. Zayden Davidson will start 22nd. Drew Webb will start 24th. Roberto Crown Jr. will start 26th. Tanner Parton will start 28th. Brad Stover will start 30th. Bernardo de Oliveira will start 32nd. Aaron Lukes will start 34th. Laura Chung will start 36th. Christian Master will start 38th. Brian Webb will start 40th. Jesse Turner will start in the 42nd and final position. That was interesting right there. Kirsten Bell going to lead us off in the Fast 6 and looking to go 2 in a row here in the Wawa Cup Series. Let's see what she does on her lap here as we get the Fast 6 started here from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. And here we go for the Fast 6. Kirsten Bell going to be our first driver off here in the number 93. Last week's winner in North Wilkesboro. And this is the driver to watch out for because now that she's got that win, she can fall off on the wild card if she has to. Which I believe she actually did last year. I think she was the first wild card a year ago, if I'm not mistaken. But this is a driver who we always expect to run well, but sometimes just kind of falls off in certain parts. But she's starting to get good at the right time. Only 7 races left to go until the chase cutoff at Atlanta, the end of June. And this is a racetrack much similar to Atlanta that will have that race out there. 181 across the line. Gonna be pretty fast speeds through the corners right here. Gonna minimize there. 166. We'll see how these times end up comparing as we move on throughout this session. Both of the ERR cars in the Fast 6. Jack Haas was fastest overall throughout the entire day so far. And then you got Kirsten Bell, who's going to set the benchmark here in the Fast 6. 29.694 for Kirsten Bell in the number 93. Let's move on to our next driver here from Charlotte. And our next driver in line, and our current points leader, Ladovic Shred in the 51. I have a feeling tomorrow night might finally be the night she gets her first win of the season, and she's clearly one of the favorites to win this championship at this point. You know, she's the points leader, and she's still saying that she thinks she's going to miss the chase, which, you know, that's the high standard she sets for herself now, as the defending Wawa Cup Series champion, of course, and driving for one of the best teams in the series. We'll see how well her time compares to Kirsten Bell, 29.694. That was set by the 93. Not quite as fast across the line, but the corner speed's going to mean quite a bit, and we saw a lot of that come into effect in Indy 250 qualifying last weekend. And Ladovic is ripping that 51 machine through turns 1 and 2, and she's going to carry a ton of speed down the backstretch here going into turn 3. 186 right there for the 51. Gonna minimize 165 in turns 3 and 4. I do feel like this time's gonna be faster than what we saw out of Kirsten Bell, and in fact it will. 29.476 for Ladovic Shred here in Coca-Cola 600 qualifying. And it's Daniel Paulus Jr., winner of our last mile-and-a-half race at Kansas 2 weeks ago, and one of only two-time winners this season. He could very well get, but I would believe it'd be his first pole of the season if he were able to pull this off. We'll see if he can do so. That was a very good time set by Ladovic Charette, who's looking to get only her second pole of the season. She did get the pole at Kansas 2 weeks ago, and then Paulus ended up winning that race. So this is a race that we can see Paulus win easily as well. Velocity very strong, a little bit more speed across the line. But as I said, you want to keep that speed in the corner here in these qualifying sessions, and Paulus is not doing it quite as fast as what Ladovic did, but that's still faster than what Kirsten Bell set. We'll see what turns 3 and 4 are like for the driver, the number 54, as he goes down the backstretch. 12th in points coming into this race. Isn't going to be quite as fast as Ladovic here in this lap, but he's still going to be having a great starting position in his attempts to finally make the top 10 in the point standings. 5.83, that's right down the middle, second quickest so far here in the Fast 6 shootout. Here we go for Andrew Miller in the number 86. Great qualifying effort for him in the group session. And you know, we got ourselves Daniel Paulus Jr., Jack Haas, and Andrew Miller, who are all in the same vein right now, trying to make their way into the chase, all having heaters right now in the Wawa Cup Series. Definitely been a great string of races for all three of these guys, and all three of them looking to jump that cut line and just make the chase outright, and then also get the bonus points for their wins, and then for their points position as well heading into the chase. If you're a wild card, you get 0 bonus points going into the chase, so definitely a big disadvantage. And every point matters, of course, in terms of the championship. Big disadvantage if you don't have those bonus points going in. Andrew Miller driving for Durrani Racing. This has definitely been the best season this team has seen. Bit of a different lap right there. He slowed it down a bit earlier and got the speed off the exit, and that might help Miller. Don't think it's going to necessarily be in comparison to Ladovic's time. But we'll have to see. Pretty fast there through turns 3 and 4. This 86 might actually have a shot at the fastest time. We'll see what it is. Across the line for Andrew Miller. 6.35. Man, not quite. He's third quickest overall. Still going to be a good starting position for Andrew Miller in tomorrow night's Coca-Cola 600. And our next driver, Trey Barta, who was fastest in Group B. Great lap for Trey Barta, who, as we mentioned, tied 18th in the standings there with Nicholas Amedeo. Hasn't been the best season for him. By this point last year, he already had a win at Rockingham, and really just hasn't been up there in a lot of these races. One fun fact about this Fast 6 shootout, all 6 of these drivers are either from Great Country up north, Canada, or the Great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Past 3 in a row are all from Pennsylvania. Ludovic Schreck, Kirsten Bell, Jack Oz, all from land up north, Canada. That's pretty cool right there. So one of 2 places that these 6 drivers are from in this Fast 9 shootout here for the Coca-Cola 600. Not as fast there for Trey Barta. They're in turns 1 and 2. And I think it's going to be a little bit on the slower end in terms of what we've seen so far in this session, and it definitely will. But regardless of the fact Trey Barta going to have a great starting position for tomorrow night's Coca-Cola 600, we'll see if he has speed in that car to really make it last. That is 4th quickest for Trey Barta in the number 4. And our last driver in line here, Jack Haas in the number 39. Maybe, even though he hasn't gotten the win since Phoenix in early March, maybe one of the hottest drivers right now. Runner-up in both Texas and Kansas, and led the most laps last week in North Wilkesboro. I know this would be a huge win for that team. We'll see if they have the speed here. His teammate Kirsten Bell's slowest here in this session. It needs to be a 29.476 for the pole, set by Ludovic Charette. A whole 10th faster than everybody else in the session right now. That 51 is fast. And it's looking like Ludovic and Daniel are going to be on the front row. Unless Jack Haas has something to say about it. So we'll see. Will it be Jack Haas? Will it be Ludovic Charette winning the pole position here for the Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte Motor Speedway? It's a good 1 and 2. I think it's going to come down to 3 and 4 if he's going to have enough speed rolling through, have an opportunity at this. But, 3 and 4 is definitely a bit of a slower corner right there. And I don't think Jack's going to quite have it, though. It's going to be a solid lap time regardless. He is going to go to a 5:01, which that was close. That was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. That's outside pole for Jack Haas here in the Coca-Cola 600. But Ludovic Charette has won the pole for the longest race of the season here, race 16 of the season in the Wawa Cup Series. And there you have it here from the Charlotte Motor Speedway in Concord, North Carolina. This is a very interesting starting lineup with Ludovic Charette and Jack Haas on the front row. Then you got Daniel Paulus Jr. and Andrew Miller in row number 2. Trey Barta will start inside lane alongside Kirsten Bell. Then it's Isaac Nichols and Blaine Keys. Eric Monaco and Nicholas Samedeo in row 5. Haley Anderson Jr. and Travis Crampton in row 6. Alex Sanventali, Nathan Smith in row 7. Darian Arnsdorf and Duncan Ward in row 8. Avery Alford and Campbell Marsh in row 9. LJ Sameto and Leonard Kochmer in row 10. Philip Torre, Zayden Davidson in row 11. Thomas Troxel and Drew Webb in row 12. Logan Williams and Roberto Crown Jr. in row 13. Bruno Diacomo and Tanner Parton in row 14. Matthew Hubert and Brad Stover in row 15, Angel Gutierrez and Bernardo de Oliveira in row 16, Brain Perez and Aaron Lukes in row 17, Bryce Egan and Laura Chung in row 18, Rogeldorn, Christian Master row 19, Justin Zidell, Brian Webb row 20, Zachary Fitzwater, Jesse Turner in row number 21. Ludovic Charette, second pole of the season. She's on the thumbnail quite a bit in these qualifying videos. We'll see if she gets that again. But we know that she's going to be leading the field of the green flag at tomorrow night's 100-lap event here from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Thank you guys so much for watching once again. Congratulations to Ludovic Charette for her pole here in the Coca-Cola 600. And I will see you guys later. Hey, don't forget to tune into the Little 250 tonight on AG the channel at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. That's going to be a lot of fun from Anderson Speedway. I almost forgot about that. But you're gonna want to watch that. It's going to be a heck of a fun race. A lot of these guys are in that one. It's going to be a blast. Absolute blast. Can't wait for it. Tonight from Anderson Speedway in less than an hour here on AG the channel. Thank you so much for watching once again, and I will see you guys later.